Oh, recording. Did you guys hear it? Recording in progress. My name's Anthony. I'm a recovering addict. So one of the things we do in this meeting is we do a positive affirmation. The reason I do that is to give ourselves credit because we don't give ourselves enough credit. It could be a small thing, big thing. Even if you don't want to share, a lot of the time I try to urge that you do this. Obviously, you don't have to. This is not like an AA or NA meeting, but I do encourage in 12 steps in NA. This is something different. We don't really have any rules here. We're raw, open. Um, and it's just really about positivity and recovery. Um, and boosting each other up.
You're done.
Reason
Why
You're
do I
done.
keep? So we are going to have a speaker tonight, kind of share a story and his journey of recovery. Um, and yeah, so with that, I will pass it over to him, and then afterward, well, I assume Trinity don't have just for today, anyways. She decided to live her life. It's weird. Um, so yeah, I'll pass it over. Then when he's done sharing his story, people want to comment on him, or if they just want to talk, that's okay. The only thing that I do try to keep and encourage in this meeting is that advice and stuff is cool, just no negative feedback. Like, you know what I mean? That's definitely not the place for this. Like I said, we're all about positivity and keeping shit real, but like all that just breaking people down or trying to say you should have did, would have, could have did, all that shit. Like I'm not trying to hear none of that. If you guys can mute your mics, like I said, this is being recorded, and I will pass it over to Sir Gerald Hefner. I mean, Gerald.
My name is Gerald, commonly known as G. I'm not even going to tell you I'm an addict at all. I'm going to tell you that I was just a straight dope fiend, you know, straight up. Um, I'll give you just a real quick rundown of my upbringing and then how I started into addiction. First and foremost, though, I want to thank everyone for showing up and earning your spot and coming to share this experience with me. I've shared my story once before, early on when we started It's All Good Recovery. Um, Not a whole lot's changed from the past, obviously. Sometimes as you get more clear, you start to remember things and whatnot. Some of the shit you don't want to remember. Uh, but there's a lot of new stuff in my life. So that's the good part about, recovery, especially early recovery. You get a lot of new stuff. And then you kind of plateau for a minute, and then you start to learn and grow some more, and so you get some more new stuff. Especially, I feel emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. Um, my everyday life may look the same, but inside, like I have so much more than what I had just even a few days ago. So, like I said, my name's Gerald. I'm originally from Sacramento, California. Born and raised for the most part there, but I came up to Oregon my whole entire life because I had a grandma that lived up here. Uh, One of the things I struggled with young was identity because I was born into a majority of a black family. My mom got pregnant with me and then married my stepdad, Travis, and that's who I was born to. And then my brothers and sisters, so on, were all mixed. Um, Early in my life, my mom became addicted, became a crackhead and a prostitute for many, many years, to the point to where she could no longer raise us. We took a couple times. She got us back, and then she just got to the point where she knew she couldn't take care of us. So um, I went to the white side of my family, and my brothers and sisters went to their dads. That really hurt us a lot. My aunt and uncle were, they say, not racist. I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there that they were definitely racist. And so I only got to see my brothers and sisters for certain. In the beginning, I saw quite a bit, but then I think that my aunt and uncle really didn't like the whole neighborhood area going over there or just having to be there. So that became far few in between. Um, they were good people though. But then they got a large sum of money and they started an addiction themselves. So my upbringing had a lot of criminality in it already because that's what I seen, a lot of addiction. And with their drug use, as it got worse and they started to spiral, the physical, mental, and sexual abuse and physical abuse was very horrid inside of our home. and I was their only child, and that they were having children after they got me. So I became the protector of the children. So anything that went on, I took beatings that weren't mine, yellings that weren't mine, or whatever, you know what I mean? So I was just always this person that, flocked myself over everything that was younger than me or weaker or less unfortunate or couldn't help themselves, and I would just take it. Um, School was cool for the most part until I did move in with my aunt and uncle and I got a little bit more in grades. I just didn't talk the same as people there. I didn't carry myself. I didn't wear the same type of clothing they did. I was a little bit more urban, we'll say. And so the only thing that saved me in school was the fact that I was athletic, that I was gifted and blessed with be able to pretty much play any sport at average or above, besides golf. That's the one thing I fucking suck at, but I will eventually become pretty good. So that's what I clung to was sports, and that was my niche. Um, the guys never really liked me, but they had to depend on me in sports. So I really flocked to women a lot. My whole entire life, it's been like that. Everyone's always thought that I'm like this huge player, this player, that. It really wasn't ever really like that. Um, I just, I felt safer with women, it was just kinder. I had a lot of bad shit with my uncle, you know what I mean, and the abuse and stuff like that. And so being around men, that's not something I wanted to be around. Um, they started me in my criminality. They had issues with people in the neighborhood. They enticed me and some other lady's kid to go vandalize this lady's car. It was a really nice Mustang and all this other stuff. We end up not getting caught, but the cops got called and all this other stuff. And they said they had evidence. They took fingerprints and all that stuff off the car, everything. And during this time, we decided to move up here to Oregon to run away from that and whatever drug debt they had ran up. So at 10 years old, I was looking at a case, fighting cases down there while we were up here. A bunch of people wrote letters and stuff down there to them and all that other stuff, and it all got dismissed. Um, they used to also round us up into fighting other kids and just doing all kinds of stupid shit. But you know what? At the same time, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, so it was kind of like normal. You know what I mean? So like I grew up in the back of a pickup truck with a canopy on it. You know what I mean? We didn't have all that safety seatbelt shit, and you got your ass whooped and all that. So a lot of it I thought was just normal. You know, I have a large family. Um, they range from Bloods, Crips, bikers, to everything, and so it's like each part of my family that I went to, it just seemed to have a lot of bad in it. And then there was my grandma that lived up here, and she was just like amazing to me. She was my everything. Um, like literally, she was my life. She, I don't know, like that, like she was more than just my grandma. She was like my guardian angel. And when she passed away, um, that's when I fell off. Like I was like 13, and I'd already had all the criminality, and then I lived up here, so process my thought process and how I did things and everything was just like a million miles an hour compared to what people were doing up here. So my criminality was real big. Like I was recruiting people, doing stupid shit, fucking. And then the little gangs that they had here, I was flocking to those and hanging out with older kids and shit. And it just it just spiraled from there, drinking, smoking pot, to trying dope, uh, crank, coke, which ended up becoming crystal meth. And shit was all bad. I just couldn't stay out of the mix. I was robbing my neighbors, hustling anything and everything I could. Literally, I robbed every neighbor on our street and got caught, like willingly, like didn't even care. Um, and then I got a lot of fraud charges because I was going door to door taking donations for Canby Athletics youth sports for kids that were less unfortunate. And if you wanted to go ahead and pay by check, you could just make it out to our president, Gerald Hefner. If you want to pay cash, that's fine. I can give you a cash receipt. Literally did that all through Canby, Oregon City. Like my criminality was just insane. I mean, I'm walking around in 8th grade with 20 grand in my pocket. So it was just nuts, you know. And I didn't even care that I had the money because I was just giving it away. I mean, besides spending it on St. Night special brews, 211 still reserve, and an eighth of weed every day, like I was just giving the money away, literally walking around giving it away. So, but that was because I wanted to be accepted. I always didn't feel a part. I always felt like I was an outsider, and I felt like I had to give, and be nice and do all these things to get recognized, to get validation, because I never felt like I was worth anything. Um, and I never understood or wanted to understand. Excuse me. I wanted to, but I didn't see myself having any self-worth because the abuse and the mental abuse and the sexual abuse I went through as a child. So everybody was always telling me, "Oh, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're good looking, you're athletic." I didn't see none of that. All I seen was some poor down broken ass kid that was beat on constantly and told that I was not going to amount to shit and that I couldn't do anything right. And so that's what I seen. And everything that I walked around doing and saying or wearing or treating people was to mask everything that I had inside of me that was broken because I was shattered. I mean, I have a mom that was addicted. Um, in my mind, she just didn't care or whatever. I never gave up on her. I'm actually the only child she has that called her mom until the day she died. Nobody else. They called her Sheila, and I refused to give up on my mom. I love my mom with all my heart. She gave me life, and to me, you only get one of them that gives you life. So no matter what they do, or what goes wrong, they have to have that respect. Because without her, I wouldn't be where I'm at today to share this story and to have the opportunity to change my life um, to help others help me because that's how this all works. Uh, in and out of prison constantly. Like I was locked up from just after 15 till I was 25 with an accumulative year of 1 year out. Somehow Canby High School decided to go ahead and give me distance education through packets. My dad, who I call my dad, was actually my basketball coach because that's at a certain point in time, the abuse at home became so much that I ran away from there and I went to my basketball coach's house, and the state of Oregon overrode the state of California and gave him custody over me uh, in power of attorney, and they signed over power of attorney. So, but I was already a bad apple, so I put him through all the hell. You know what I mean? He loved me so much, he took me in, and then all the shit started: the gang banging, the fucking drinking, the drugs, the meth, the forgery, the con shit. And this man has lived his whole life in Canby, and he takes in this kid that literally drags his last name through the dirt, you know. And there's nothing I don't know. Those are amends I still need to make, uh, which I'm getting close to because in step work, I'm really close to that. So, um, I got out at 25, emotionally inept, uh, lost, still a child. And what do? I fall in love with the first woman that wants to touch me. She kidnaps me, takes me to the coast. I feel like I owe her because she gives me a place to stay and all this other stuff. And I want to play catch up with everyone I went to school with because they've all been, went to college, got jobs, married, having kids. So that's what I did. Did I love her? No, I didn't. Was she lovable? Sure, she was, but I was not capable of that because anyone that ever told me they loved me, they hurt me or gave me away or abandoned me. So when you say you loved me back then, I was like this. Oh yeah, I love you too. I love you too. And I would look for any reason to fall out of that situation because if there was a reason that I could leave or a way I could create a way to make that break, I would do it because I knew in the long run that I was going to get broken because that's what everyone's done to me is break me, you know? And So I was married for I think a total of 8 years, together for five of it. Horrible divorce. I was clean though, from 25 to 30. Excuse me. I wasn't on dope, I should say. I still drank. I still smoked pot later, about 5 years into my marriage. I'm pretty sure that's when I wanted it to end. So I started smoking pot because they were a no drug zone, period. And so I figured if I smoke pot, that might create enough disruption that there could be, divorce on the way or something. So, but I also had this beautiful little girl named Era Lynn that I didn't want to leave because of divorce at such a young age because I didn't know how it was going to go, and I didn't want her to not who I know who I was or have an established relationship with me. So I stayed for many years in the relationship just because we had a child because I didn't want to leave her. At five, I did that. Horrible divorce, 3 year divorce, cost me $67,000 and everything I owned. Um, and getting out of prison, I was fortunate enough to be smart enough to make some pretty good decisions. I started my own business back then, a decking company on the coast. It was doing really well, and then the economy crashed back then, 08, 09. So I sold everything off, moved to Salem, and then shortly after that is kind of when we started going through the divorce. The divorce moved me back into Canby at my dad's. I started hanging around guys I went to school with, started drinking every night after work. And then the drinking's always what gets me. That's my crack. Um, like I can be the nicest guy on every other drug in the world, go to work, pay my bills, do all that shit. I start drinking. I'm an asshole. I don't care. I don't take care of my responsibilities. I ignore my children. Uh, Everywhere I become abusive in every sense of the word, physically, mentally, emotionally. It's just I'm just a bomb. And I get real dark. And then having to go to work when you're drinking, it's like eventually you just show up at the dope house because you stayed up all night and now you got to go to work. And that's how I got back into dope. Um, had to go to Bend after being up for 2 nights drinking and had to work for the next 3 days out of town. And I knew there was no way I could do it without getting high. So I started getting high again. Um, that sent me from 2013 till 2014, 11-year run. Um, I lost my job within 6 months of doing dope. I was winning my custody battle in my divorce at that time. And then I started doing dope, stopped showing up, quit doing all my responsibilities. Uh, just everything. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I lost everything and so fast. And I lost myself. Um, and I wasn't even sure, like I say, I lost myself, but I wasn't even sure who I even was then. Everything was attached to codependency and to this woman that I married after I got out of prison, after being locked up my whole life, all my teens, my early youth, my early adulthood, 20 to 25, you know what I mean, or 18 to 25 locked up. So I didn't even know who I really was. Um, it's pretty safe to say until 4/2/24, I had fucking no idea who I was. I know there was a lot of good in me. I felt good. I knew there was good in me. I knew I cared and loved people to a fault. I just didn't know how to show them or be good to them or stick up for being good. I would just take whatever was given and fucking eat it and then just move on because uh, as much as I like confrontation with certain types of people, there's certain people I don't like confrontation with. And it was people that I also seen in my life that I could see either they were broken or hurt or that they were good people. And when two good people are fucking not right in their heads and shit, I just I run from it instead of trying to work anything out, because working shit out takes effort and it takes emotions and thoughts and all that other shit. And like that takes a lot of time. You know what I mean? And like realistically, when I'm high, I don't have a whole lot of fucking time. Like there's not enough fucking minutes, there's not enough hours. Like I'm already trying to jam a week into 24 hours. Like it's like fuck, dude, I ain't got time to deal with all that shit. So you just stash it away and let it build up. And, you know, for me, building shit up in my addiction is what was my ultimate downfall, not dealing with things. But that's how it goes. You know what I mean? We all do it. I just felt like, you know, I'm not special, but I felt like I did it on like a really fucking good level. Like I just let everything build. It didn't matter how small or big. And then, you know, I prided myself on how hurt I was inside, but masking all of it. And because you know what, for the most part, I've had my bad days. Trust me, we've all seen the picture. Uh, but for the most part, you know, I showered every day. I brushed my teeth. I presented myself well. Um, and you want to know what's something crazy? And I know this is fucking crazy and sounds stupid, but to me, I was pretty fucking real in addiction with people. Like I told the truth about shit. Because I used to tell everybody all the time, you want to know what everyone's scared about in addiction? You want to know what everyone's scared of in the game? The fucking truth. So I would just tell people the truth. Like, if I fucked up, I'd tell you the truth. If I fucking, you gave me some shit and I fucked it off, guess what? I would tell you, well, you know what? I was supposed to go sell that, but I ran into this chick and she was super bad and I wanted to impress her. So I ran through your shit and I don't have the money because we VP'd all your shit. So, like, because to me, only two ways to fix this. Like, if you don't give me anything, more, I can't really make up what I lost. So we're just gonna have to change the prices. You know what I mean? Like that's how I was. Like I was like, okay, well, we can work this out. You know what I mean? Uh, but that's who I was. Like the one thing I really wasn't, I was never really a liar. Like I just wasn't. And it fucked me a lot. Sometimes I wish in addiction I lied because I could have got out a lot of shit. But I didn't. And so like that was the battle that I was constantly having in my addiction, was that I knew I was a good person. I knew I didn't want to do this anymore, and I knew how not to do it because I knew there was help out there. And I also have this thing called will and common sense. I've always known that I was pretty intelligent and smart, and that I had common sense, but I also knew that I just fucking chose not to use it. I just chose not to use it. So here we are in and out of prison. Uh, and I go back in 2021. Um, And before I went back in 2021, I was really making some strides uh, of trying to change my life. I was still using, don't get me wrong. I was fucking dope fiend. I was. I mean, a lot of people don't know. Some of you do know because you done seen me. And I trusted those people and shit like that. But I was shooting dope like a motherfucker. Hands down shooting dope. And it's crazy to me because people are like, are you sure you're shooting dope? Because you want to know what? I ain't got a scar on me. But I'll tell you what, I was trying to touch the sky. Like every time I was trying to touch the sky. If I was smoking in front of you, just know I was smoking. So hopefully you get so fucking smoked out that you wouldn't notice I was taking a shot. You know, and it got to the point to where I started isolating and I'm in my own spot and I'm hiding in the bathroom shooting dope to the point to where I can't find veins. Uh, you know, I'd always heard about it, seen people do it, was disgusted by it, and there I was doing it. It changed. It didn't. The first time I stuck a needle in my arm, I lost my motherfucking life, period. Whatever I knew of life before that was gone. It was just gone. I was gone. I literally drew it up and shot it out. That's when I knew I was broken and I thought I'd never be fixed. But that's also what started to change me. Um, because the one thing I've always been is competitive. And so multiple times in a 4 year span, I quit shooting dope. And I would walk around with a syringe in my pocket and I would deny it myself shooting dope to say that I had control over it. But I was sitting there doing hot rails, smoking, but I wouldn't shoot it. And I would go 2, 3, 4 months. But during those 2, 3 months of coming off of shooting dope all by myself is when I was the worst. I was a piece of shit. Like, just a piece of shit. I can't even really explain to you how I was a piece of shit. I guess just because I feel like I prided, like everything that I was saying before about being honest and loving and caring, I was still all of that, but I really did not fucking give a fuck about who I was talking to or what was going on in my life. And how I knew I was a piece of shit is because when I started doing that, I quit caring about myself to the point to where I would go and help you fix all of your problems and figure that out and deny my own. I would help you go pay your bills and help you try to go get your kids back and help you go get clean as I'm shooting dope in your bathroom. Uh, I kept getting case after case from 19 to 21, COVID. They kept kicking me out, doing weird shit, fucking like weird. I got arrested in Eugene at a motel once and never been to jail in Eugene. I get there and they give me a COVID test and it comes back false positive and they classify it as a positive. So I come back to Marion County. Now, every time I get pulled over, I just show them the sheet. It don't matter what the fuck I do. I'm not going to jail. They're just releasing me, cite and release. I'm like, dude, this is the coolest arrest I've ever had. Fucking thank you, Eugene. Like, I'm just running around fucking committing crimes because I got a fucking free jail, get out of free jail card. So I'm just racking them up.
Sorry, Mom, kidding.
It was just insane.
I didn't mean to.
So what's really crazy is that
Are you talking to him?
trying to fucking get clean and I couldn't. And so eventually I was just like, I'm just going to have to go back to prison. And I knew that. I knew my only hope was to go back to prison to try to get some clean time to change my life. And so that's exactly what happened. The next time they put me in there, I told them not to release me. There's no way they should release me. They were like, yeah, well, we're probably going to release you. I mean, the last time I took 8 hostages and they still released me. So it's like, what the fuck? And I told them no. And so when my lawyer came and seen me, I told him I'm done fighting. I want to see if they'll do a settlement. And he was like, well, they're doing this cool thing, Pandemic Settlement Conference. It's where they pretty much do a global, wrap everything up and try to give you the least amount of time or treatment. Since I tried to go to treatment the last year twice, but somehow couldn't find transportation there. They were like, oh yeah, well, you've been trying to get better. So, they gave me 117 months, all wrapped into the first plea bargain I took, 37 months with good time and work time. I hit Coffee Creek and I had to decide how I wanted to do my time. And at that point in time, I just said, hey, you want to know I want to change my life? I'm done with this shit. I don't care what anyone has to say, think, or wants to say about me or anything like that. So I started doing my own time inside prison for the first time ever. And it was not very liked, but I didn't care. And I stood my ground and I did it. I got out, had all this fucking willpower that I was never going to do dope again and all this other shit and whatnot. And I was going to do good and whatnot. I didn't even make it out of the parking lot. I started getting high. February 23rd, 24, I started getting high immediately out the gate. Obviously, something changed in my life because I started getting high and I was so repulsed with myself and so depressed and disappointed in myself that I refused to let anyone see me. I reached out to Anthony a few times. He was real leery. He didn't really want to see me face to face, and I stayed inside my house for 30 days, smoking dope, snorting dope, and shooting dope to the point to where I lost my mind. Never in my life have I ever went into psychosis and lost my mind, didn't understand. I was talking to people that weren't there. I was talking to people over a fucking fence in my backyard. I was listening to voices, doing the things that they were telling me to do. And I fucking lost my mind. I lost my mind to the point where I couldn't be in the house no more because I was scared. I left the house, went on a walk to I don't know where, ended up in somebody's backyard trying to get in their house, telling them I know somebody was there. Homeowners came out. I fought them. Cops came, busted me over the head with a fucking flashlight because I was fighting them. Pulled the cop's gun from his belt. They wrestled me away, slammed me down, handcuffed me. They put a cop in the back of the cop car because I was abusing myself with the cop car, banging my head into shit. When he got back there, I tried to pull the gun out of his holster again. They fought me, tried to take me to jail. I was too fucked up. The jail wouldn't take me, took me to the hospital. Woke up handcuffed to the bed, woke up again, handcuff was gone. Nobody there. Didn't know what to do, but the nurse came in and I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" She was like, "Oh, well, we're probably going to discharge you." I was like, "Okay, cool, gotta go." So I started getting all my shit ready, like put on all my clothes. And by the time she came back, she was like, "Oh, well, you can't leave." I was like, "Well, I'm leaving." She was like, "Well, they are going to discharge you." I was like, "Well, I'm out of here." She's like, "Well, we need you to sign." I didn't sign shit. I left there, went straight to my PO because I had a PO appointment that day. And I walk in and she was like, "What the fuck? What happened?" I was like, "I don't really know." you know, I didn't really know. I remember it, but I don't know why or what happened necessarily as to why I did what I did. I do know this: I was heavily medicated when I got out of prison for PTSD, anxiety, all kinds of shit, and I was on dope. My meds ran out. Nobody would give me new meds because I was actively using. I wasn't seeing a therapist anymore, so I was spiraling out. And she just asked me, "What are you going to do?" And I was like, "I don't know." So I'm just going to go home. And she's like, "Well, you have several charges in the DA's office. I know they're pretty serious. I don't know what they're going to do yet." And I was like, "Well, will you let me know when you find out?" She goes, "Yeah." I went back home, fell asleep. And when I woke up, I just had this fucking feeling that I needed to do something. I needed to save my own life. So I became my own hero. I put on my sister's slides, which are 5 sizes too small. And I walked all the way from Auburn all the way to Detox in Salem in the rain. I just walked in a t-shirt and I think I had pajama pants on. I don't know what kind, but they were pajama pants. Um, and what was crazy is I've been giving the police, everybody knows that's in Salem, I've been giving the police hell for fucking a few years now. Like I was constantly fucking activity with the police. So they started following me. Like they would like fucking go a block ahead of me and park in a parking lot and see what the fuck I'm doing. They're like, "What the fuck? This fool's on a good one." You know what I mean? And I was walking, probably talking to myself, all kinds of weird shit, I'm sure. And I fucking, when I turned to go into detox, one of the cops fucking rolls down his window as I'm going in because there's a fucking, I think it's a Chevron station right there on Lancaster. And he rolls down his fucking window and he fucking goes like this and smiles. And that's, I went into detox and I just told him, I was like, "Look, I'm not leaving until I get a bed." And they admitted me. I told them I was in the hospital for a couple of days, and the last day I used was 4/1/24. And I wanted to be clean and I wanted to get better. And they told me they could only keep me for 4 days because they can only do detox for 7 days, I guess. And since I was already in the hospital, they were only gonna give me 4 days. I said, okay. At 4 days, I told them I wasn't leaving until I was in residential treatment. And then the one lady is arguing that, they had to let me go. And the other dude's like, "How are we going to deny this dude wanting to fucking get into treatment? I'm not going to put him out there." So they found a place for me in Coda. I fucking committed to it. It was a 90-day program. I got there on 4/10. And I graduated from that program. And um, this is how treatment worked for me. And this is why I'm still clean today. Because drugs weren't my problem. They were my solution. 100%. My problem was everything inside of me was broken. My mental was broken. My emotional was broken. I had severe abandonment issues. Um, I had a lot of trauma of trust and love. Um, the more someone loved me, the fucking more I fucking pushed and pushed and pushed them away. Uh, I had no self-esteem. Um, I had nothing. I had nothing left inside of me, period. Hands down, there was nothing. So when I went in there, I told them that I didn't want to focus on how to stay clean off drugs. I wanted to focus on therapy about abandonment, anger management, resentments, all of that stuff. And I wanted to work through the trauma I went through as a child with sex abuse from uh, the neighbors, the fucking family members, all that shit. And then the emotional and mental abuse, that shit. Like, I could literally take an ass whooping all day long and smile about it. But if you yelled and degraded me, it fucking tore me down so much it would make me bawl. I would just bawl. I felt like nothing. Like I could take a punch, I could take an ass whooping, anything, but yelling and screaming at me or shutting me down or it happened so often that was my kryptonite. Like if you want to get to Gerald, all you got to do is fucking yell at him. You know. That's the shit I worked on in there. And when you're in treatment, there's so many guys because we've all been to prison. We're hardened criminals. We're drug addicts. We're this and that. They don't want to get all the way vulnerable. Nobody wants to sit in front and share or talk about how they were sexually abused by people in their family or their neighbors or all this. They want to just the surface shit. And I knew that my shit was deeper than the surface. And I knew the only way I was ever gonna fucking get better is if I shared what fucking happened to me my whole life. If I got real about what I was fucking dealing with. I used multiple times over and over. And then switched around to be used again. And I wasn't willing to
Can you mute
leave
your
there.
mic?
I wasn't willing to leave there. And turn. No, with multiple guys I've been in prison with, multiple guys I've seen on the street or know of me. I stood up in front of the room when they asked me to share my story there, and I shared it all for the first time ever with no shame. With, I don't know. I knew that I didn't plan on it. I had no idea that I was going to do it, but it's what came out and it's what changed my life. It's what changed me was finally being honest with myself out loud and allowing people to see who I really was and how damaged I really was. So people could understand how to deal with me, how to see me, or how to be around me. There's a lot of shit in my past that people were great to me, but they did something that just put me on red alert. And maybe it was innocent, maybe it was nothing, but to me, it was a red flag and I had to go. And I still have those moments today, not as much, you know, but I'm also fucking only coming up on 18 months clean. And like I said, I started this recovery journey at fucking 42 years old. Like I didn't know no better. I'm still learning who the fuck I am. And what are my likes and dislikes. And what's crazy is some of my likes are now my dislikes and some of my dislikes are now my likes. And I'm fucking so confused half the day that uh I don't know what to do with myself or what to think or say sometimes. um but I do know this. um I do love people today. I feel like I'm lovable. I'm not perfect. I still do stupid shit. um but I don't pick up. I have self-worth. I don't need my self-worth or validation through anything or from another person anymore. Um, I'm not codependent anymore. Um, today my life is a lot better than it was. I have a full-time job. I pay my bills. I live in sober living by choice. I had a place to go to, but I wanted to stay around people that were clean and learn to live that way. And I thought no better place than to do that. Um, I am at a point in my life where I'm ready to leave sober living, but I'm gonna take my time doing that. I'm the house manager here, which I got to do here in a little bit. Um, you know, I still have a lot of growing to do, and I still have a lot of learning to do, but at least I'm honest with myself and real enough with myself to show up to do that. Um, I've learned like even clean, and I am a nice guy, but I'm still an asshole. I've learned that. Um, Probably should work on that. Uh, I need to work on my voice, uh, in my choice of words. I come across a lot harsher and meaner than I mean to be sometimes. My thought process is like still really raw with certain shit. And so when I go to address something, it doesn't come across correct and it sounds abrasive. Um, but I love life today. Um, I love the person that I am. Um, running out of shit to say because I'm saying every other word. So I recognize things. I know that I still have a lot of thinking errors. I just discovered that in the last couple of weeks, and I need to address those and evaluate them and see how I can become better with that. And then I know this that no matter fucking what, that you could line my family up in front of me today and they can put a gun to my head and tell me all I have to do is take this shot or smoke this bowl of meth and they'll let me live to be with my family. I'm going to tell you right now, my family going to watch me die. They're going to watch me die. It's not an option. It's just not an option. They're going to kill me because I ain't smoking that shit and I ain't putting it in my arm ever again. They'll die. They'll be sad, but you want to know what? At the end of the day, they're going to be like, you want to know what? Finally, for once, he fucking chose us and he was real and he chose himself. It's not an option for me today. And I'm so glad this isn't a still 12-step program. I'm so glad this isn't NA based or AA based because at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you like this, when I'm done with my steps, I'm not doing AA or NA. I think the 12 steps are a must, and that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to ask my higher power, my creator, God, to free me from addiction, true freedom. I'm not going to identify as an addict. I'm not going to raise my hand or go to meetings and say I'm an addict because that's not my life. But I'm going to work through those steps because I think there's something really important in them. And it's teaching me how to become a man, a better man. It's teaching me principles that I had no fucking idea about. And it's keeping me honest with myself more and more every day. So with that, that's what I got. Here in 9 minutes, I got to go. I have a house meeting I got to do. I want to tell each and every one of you that I believe in you, that I love you, that there's other people that love you. And no matter if you're struggling or not, this room's always here. So are the people here. We have a great admin team. I know them all personally. Fuck, I've used with every one of them. I want to thank a special thank to a couple friends that showed up today. I love you. Uh, this is me. Hey, I'm sober, still gangster as fuck. That's all I got.
Logo, dog. Look, sober and gangsta. I know you only got a couple minutes, so I'll make my little thing real quick, and I'll start my positive affirmation for myself. My name's Anthony, by the way, is just staying positive and making the right choices in a lot of negative situations, right? Back to back to back. And just not even stressing on it. Geeky, when you raise your so I'm just gonna say real quick. The one thing that I always identify is like some of the shit like with me and you are like super similar, right? Like even the thing like when you're talking about like shooting up, dude, I was like so against it, dude. And I mean, dude, I got in fights with people over and all that stuff, right? And then it was like as soon as I shot up and took that route, it's like I lost all. I just didn't care anymore, right?
Oh,
And
it's the
then
pussy.
yeah, and it was all over like me giving my self control over to a female that didn't give a fuck about me, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make them pay. I'm gonna shoot up, right? And I did that for a long time. Like, oh, I'll go to jail and make them pay, or whatever, right? Which is like some weird ass way of thinking. And then like even in the addiction part, bro, of going and regardless of whatever happens, you know what I'm saying, just kind of just being honest but not giving a fuck really. And then the part that I like and always tell you that I relate to is fuck when I went back to jail this time after I got clean and then relapsed. I fucking hit that jail tank knowing I was going to prison, and I told everybody, every single person, I'm like, dude, I'm done with this shit. Uh, you know what I mean? And people, oh, demon, demon, demon. I'm like, bro, I'm not. I'm getting away from all that. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, uh, and I want to say you say almost 18 months clean, and like I'm an asshole when people talk about clean dates and talk about relapse because oh well, he had 40 years. I'm like, okay, he had 40 years. So I just like I'm always telling people like celebrate your fucking like 20 years from now, and you're like, I haven't used drugs in 20 years. That's awesome as fuck, right? But if you go and get high or drunk on your 20 years in one day, that shit to me don't exist anymore. Like you might have that time in your life, but like that's gone. You could start over and keep pushing forward. But so like 18 months, that's badass, right? And then you just got all this time to move forward, right? And then at a certain point in your life, like I want it the same as you is like just I want all this shit to be in my past. I don't need to be labeled for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah. So anyways, hey, thank you for sharing the story. And I really liked it. We recorded it. I like to do this a little bit more. That way we could start getting our stories out there, right? Then I'll pass it over to Kinky. You gotta unmute yourself though.
Oh Lord, here we go. Hi, I'm Kiki. I'm super grateful I was able to be here tonight, Gerald, to hear your story and support you in, your recovery and the fact that, you have 18 months. I mean, I was there with you in Eugene when we got arrested, that was in that hotel room trying to fake it out like no one was in there. You know what I mean?
Ah,
And yeah, that's a story for the books. And thank God for COVID and all I mean they held me for a little bit, but you know, yeah, I think our reality checks really came at a good time. I know it did for me, like during the pandemic and all that, like they were really taking a look at recovery and treatment as options for people instead of just incarcerating people. And, I think it's given a lot of people a lot more hope for the journey of recovery that they're on. Because before that, everyone's just getting slammed with time in jail, and all that's doing is, really educating them more on the streets and building more connections. And, I'm myself am coming up on 5 years, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if it wasn't for for me. Oxford House was a big part of that for me. Oxford House I got really involved with in Eugene, and it helped me a lot. So that's been huge, but also just continuing to show up. And I guess my affirmation really is that my past and my history, it doesn't define me. You know what I mean? Like the things that I've gone through and the decisions and choices I've made in my life doesn't define who I am today. They've helped me become a version of myself that I can be this person today, but it doesn't define me. And I'm not going to get stuck in a place where I was so broken and I was so hopeless that I didn't think I could get out of it, because I'm living a life today that proves to me that I am worthy, I am capable, and that I you know, I have I have a career in my life. I mean, you can relate to that at this point. Like, I was just a hustler out there, just like many of us all in this room probably were, and I have something that is leading me in a direction to where I can be proud of it and like share that with others and motivate others to, we all have a powerful story, whether we want to believe that or know that and not. Like, we're going to impact someone when we open our mouths and when we share that with someone. So if you're in here and you are uncomfortable sharing in rooms of people, like, at least just say your name so people know that you're there. So, because that's the only way they're going to know that you're not when you aren't, is if you're at least throwing your name out there so people know. That's all I got. So thanks.
Yeah, thank you. So I believe he's got like 2 more minutes till he's got to go. Does anybody else want to touch on that? And we can still get into doing our regular little share if you got, you know what I'm saying, after or whatever. Just unmute your mic, be a man, speak up. Let's do it.
Thank
I'll
you
go.
for sharing again. Sorry, Stu.
You're good.
No, thank you for sharing. It means a lot, and it touches home a lot too, because I can relate to that feeling when the first time I heard the word surrender, and then I heard what it was to people and what it meant to finally feel like you're done. And I remember that feeling, and then you sharing, I was like, don't fucking cry, bitch. Don't fucking cry. But I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're following the steps you're taking. I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you. I gotta
Yeah.
go, Paul.
Hey.
I gotta get now.
I just want to say congratulations, bro. I'm super proud of you, man. Yeah, your story's inspirational, bro. It touches me every time I hear it, and it helps me remember that I could be vulnerable myself, and that I don't have to be afraid to speak about shit that I've gone through or shit in the past. And I just appreciate you, brother, and I'm glad to have you as a friend and as a family member out here. Keep up the good work, bro.
Snake. All right, thank you guys. I gotta go. Love you all.
All right, so why we don't ever have a time limit anyways up in here. We do what we want. So yeah, we don't really have a topic or nothing going on. If people want to go around, obviously the positive affirmation, if you want to touch on anything you heard or whatever, that's cool. If not, just talk, it's been a long week. So does anybody want to share next? I'll start singing and dancing. You guys know I will. And I already got the Kiki song stuck in my head now because they're. Why? Who's in the black right here? That's Stewie. It just got nighttime where you guys are at, or what? Love you, cuz.
It's in his
Still
pocket.
Tell Jamie we're still waiting on her.
I don't know why. I don't know why she won't. So I'm not gonna force her. So yeah.
She'll come to a time, whatever.
Yeah, she's I think a month and like 22 days now.
Yeah,
so
yeah, she'll get more comfortable. I don't know.
She will. I don't know.
I know a lot of people when they come to this meeting too, they feel a little bit more comfortable than regular meetings because we're just kind of chilling. Yeah. Well, yeah, I love you. And next meeting it will be a regular meeting. I like to space out the speaker meetings like that. I But I do want to say to anybody that's in here, like, if you want to do a speaker meeting, like, if you want to share your story, just let me know in advance. We can set that up. I am trying to do, like, recording them and getting our stories out there. Our group just keeps growing bigger and bigger, and it's pretty badass. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I can share a little bit. I know. So I can touch on my mom because I know she's been a part of this group a little bit. So I can just, uh, she's at Buckley right now. I don't know where that's gonna go or not. She's been out here homeless because I had to, which has been one of the hardest things ever, like, to not help my mom, right? Um, but I'm sending her food, and then I broke and went and bought her a brand new phone because she got her stolen. And then she went to my work the other day and was there the whole day with her whole nose busted, and she's got hospital boots on. And um but I don't know, hopefully Cheshire will take her back to treatment because she's alumni there, so I'm hoping for that. um but I mean, I don't know, you know how it is, you can't force help on somebody, and it's like, I know she wants to do better, but it's just like, I don't know, I can't have her around my kids. I try to explain that to her. Like, I can't have you around my kids the way you are. I can't have you around me the way you are. Like, I literally, and it's not even a money thing, right? And I hate to tell her this, but it's like, dude, I got an insurance claim because my car got in a wreck. I just spent $400 of that money to feed her, to, you know what I'm saying? Buy her a brand new phone. And it's like, people are like, oh, walk away, walk away. And I'm like, it's my mom. If there's a chance I could save her, it's hard for me just to fucking, you know what I mean? But so we'll see where it goes. But, and then besides that, like, fucking, I don't know, life is good, dude. I've been getting, you know what I really like about, and I love sharing with you guys because a lot of you guys know me. Dude, I've had a fucked up 2 months, bro. Like, brand new car that I worked so hard for crashed. Dude, I haven't even been mad about it. Straight up. Not even, I haven't sat here stressed on it. I mean, I've been making it to work. You know what I mean? Even though I work at 5 in the morning.
When did he go in the bathroom?
When I was over there, that's why I tried to show you
And
the bathroom.
so,
Though he wants to swing.
I haven't thought about, like, getting high, none of that shit. Like,
Derek, you want a swing?
so
Let's
I
go to
don't
your
know.
sissy.
I think just
Come on.
getting in a place of in my life to where it's like,
Derek, watch out.
I did almost beat a dude up at my house tonight, but that's because he was drunk and he kept slapping me and shit. But the thing is every time I don't do that, because that's usually my go-to, is just to get down, right? Later on, I'm like proud of myself on how much that I've grown and shit, right? You have a good night too. Thank you. Every Thursday we're open. And so, like, the only reason I continue to always, like, tell people these things is because it's like, we're always real quick, right, to notice our faults, especially in recovery, like, fuck this and this, or bills and all this stuff, right? And it sucks being a grown ass adult, right? We're grown ass adults now, right? And like, I work and I work and I work and I get no money, right? Sometimes, and I'm like, this is crazy. But then I start thinking, like, dude, I'm a good ass dad, right? And I put up with a lot of shit. And the cool thing too is like, I'm able to notice now when I make good choices, not always about bad choices, right? And now I'm in a position too, like, where the courts don't even argue, like, I got a couple tickets or whatever, and they're not even tripped. They're like, hey, just get this settled and we're gonna work with you. And I'm like blown and amazed away by these things, right? Because I'm the dude that literally was the only dude in jail that wouldn't be released during COVID because I don't know what it was. My attorney, everybody's like, I don't know why they're holding you. Everybody that I was in jail with was in there for rape, murder, and 50 felonies. I had a old UUMV PV warrant. You know what I mean? And I'm sitting there for 6 months. So it's like, for the courts and stuff too, like, hey, yeah, we're gonna work with you. We're gonna pull this stuff out. We're gonna do that stuff. Is cool as shit. And for the first cop that gave me the ticket, didn't even file the ticket, and he told me the whole time, I don't want to mess with you. He's like, dude, I just looked at your whole record. He's like, you got like 30 felonies and a DMV record. He's like, I got lost in it, and he's like, but I could see that, like, you know, all this stuff that it's saying about you on here, that, you know what I'm saying? My risk factor went from whatever they call it, you know, a threat to society, whatever, however they state it, to, you know what I mean, non-risk and off parole. So I mean, it's cool, right? But yeah, I just want to share that. Yeah, just keep sharing the meeting, you guys, and we'll keep just keep this pushing, dude. I think we're going on like 10 months, dude, and it's badass, dude. Like, you know, and just getting to know everybody and their stories and getting to you guys every week. Summer's coming to an end. I know I still would like to try to work a get together or whatever. I don't know how it's gonna work now. I'm waiting to see if my car's gonna be fixed or not. But
You're tired.
What'd you call me?
Honey, I called you honey.
Oh, honey. But that's what I gotta say. If
Let's
anybody wants
go.
to share anything or just talk, or I mean, at least give yourself a little positive affirmation. You know, share this meetings every Thursday. I open at 5:30.
I will. I'm Rachel. I have like almost 14 months clean. Just got my kids back, full custody. Housing, got that. I don't do any of the steps yet. I mean, I probably will someday if I know that they're very helpful, right? And but I also have a problem with all the social, like how you have to talk a certain way when you're in the, you know what I mean, when you're in the NA rooms. Like, I don't dig all that. Here comes my 9-year-old.
Hi.
What up?
Okay, I love you. You're sweaty.
So are you?
I am not. So I'm an ex-felon. I have like what, 13, 14 years off of heroin. This last one was with meth for if I say a few years, it's only 9, 8 years, right? uh, anyways, I think the positive affirmation that I can give myself, or that I allow myself to believe, is that I'm okay not being okay. Like, I used to take baseball bats to trees, like fight whenever I could. No real reason, right? Like, dude, I walked into my neighbor's house who was a fucking sheriff and told him I was checking on his dog while I'm robbing his wife, right? Like, I mean, the things we do, right? And that was I was 16 or like 20, and I figured the dude had it coming because he was married. I don't know. Anyways, I just now, like, 13, 14 months in, I'm just like, I can sit in all my uncomfortable and not snap, not freak out. I might cry, that's fine. But like, it's sitting in the bullshit that is making me a different person, right? Like, that's what I do know. But yeah, that's my affirmation, is I'm okay not being okay all the time.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like it.
I can relate to that. I'm 4 years in, well, over 4 years in, and I haven't done the steps either. A positive affirmation. I'm a good mom even when it's hard. And it's been real hard lately with my son. I don't know. I just want to say hi. My son's looking out, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so I'll say something, right, that I tell people, like, I'm not hating on NA or none of that stuff, right? For one, I don't like that, oh, we're anonymous, but we're really not anonymous in the group anyways. But like, and so like I tell people here, like, I'm not ashamed of where I came from, right? Because to be honest, I don't think that I would be mentally the person that I am today, right? And I don't think that I would have the knowledge and like to be able to have the coping skills and to be a good dad the way that I am, right? Because like me, I treat my kids with love and care and listening. I mean, yeah, I yell at my kids and stuff, but like I don't like violence. I don't like abuse. You know what I'm saying? I don't like drama around my kids and stuff, which I grew up the complete opposite. But on top of that, also, like, yeah, steps are cool and everything. A lot of that stuff is just like treatment. The one thing about inpatient treatment, depending where you go, I did like Willamette Family because they kind of based it more on the positive aspects. But like in prison, I went through that program and they based it all on negativity, like beating yourself down to build yourself up, which it's actually a therapeutic treatment, right? And I don't think that really works all the time with people because then you're just bringing up damage and all this stuff. But 12 steps, it works for a lot of people. I didn't do I'm coming up on 4 years here soon, and I tried all that stuff. It never worked. And I get turned off on a lot of the meetings. I hit them from time to time, but like, bro, I don't want to hear somebody bitch and cry for 7 meetings. And it's like, it's cool. You're going through something. Let's talk about it. Let's figure, like, how are you going to cope with it? Let's support each other and fucking get over it. Right. And that's why I say I'm an asshole like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, dude, you can't sit there because eventually you're going to relapse. If you're just sitting here and you hate everything about recovery, and everyone just supports it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes like in those meetings, they're like, oh, instead of telling somebody like, because I'll tell you, if we have somebody in here we used to have somebody, I'm not going to name names, but you know who they were. They used to flip out, cuss, and cry and cry. And I finally pulled them aside and was like, look, this recovery is based on the positivity of recovery. It's okay to talk about bad stuff, but when it's every meeting for 45 minutes of the meeting of you just, like, if you hate recovery so bad, fucking go get loaded. Fuck. I mean, I hate to say that, but fuck it. I mean, I don't really mean it, but it's like, if you're not happy and everything, like, dude, even in my most like fucked up times in recovery, I'm going to tell you guys, it never matches up to me fucking walking around, not being able to see my kids. And I'm so upset at myself about it that I'm thinking about suicide by cop or, I have places to go, but I don't want to be around people. So I put headphones in, do a shot of dope, and then I walk for a week straight like I'm homeless and I got fucking $1,000 in my pocket and an ounce of dope on me. You know what I mean? And my feet are like see-through and people think they're like, and then I'm fucking flailing like one of those little signs in front of the car dealer shops, right? Yeah, you guys have seen me. And it's all because I'm not drinking water, I'm not eating, and it's like, I'm just walking. You know what I'm saying? Doing nothing. And it's like, then I think of like the worst shit that's happened to me in recovery and the anxiety I felt. And I'm like, God, for one, it doesn't last that long. For two, it's like, and I try to tell people, get a set of coping skills right. Deep breathing, fleeing the scene, and use them consistently, even if it seems stupid. People at work ask me all the time. I mean, they don't a lot now. They'll see me doing these breathing things, right? And then and I tell them straight up, I'm like, I'm getting anxiety. So if I don't manage it, I'm gonna end up doing something that none of us are gonna like. And they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah. So stop asking me why the fuck I'm taking deep breaths because you are a fucking retard and I don't want to work with you. I mean, I don't say all that, but that's what my mind's thinking. Yeah, I hope I see some new faces in here today. I hope you guys like the meeting, share the meeting. Like I said, it was a speaker meeting today, but like this is the chillest meeting I think that is out there. We usually do it just for today reading. Besides that, like we're trying to build and grow a community that is just raw and real about recovery and positivity and like yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like build a family. And like I said, this meeting's been going for 10 months. The it's all good recovery part, it's only been around for hey, so the first thought wrong. So I'm going to tell you something. I just shared Mark London Holmes with the group because is that where did you see it from him?
No, that's my own shit. Like I just first thought wrong every time. Like
Well, I'm gonna show
it's
you
like
right now before we end the meeting. Look, and if you guys haven't seen this comedian, I seen this. He's got like 50 years clean, right? And let me find it. He's just funny as fuck, but like when you watch this whole thing, it'll make you like want to cry, laugh. He's so real. about the shit he talks about, right?
Right.
I can never spell his name, but that's what he talks about.
It's true though, dude. It's true. Like my first instinct is usually the worst one there is because like I'm either angry or you know what I mean? Like I like to make impulse decisions and they're always bad. You know? Like that's why prison happened. I couldn't stay in 4 different treatments, you know what I mean? Like I could have stayed at any fucking one. I just chose not to, you know? And I think that's part of why the 12 steps for me are like uh not scary, but like I want to fold my arms and say I don't fucking want to, even though I know it's good for me, right? But like that's just part of the whole addict and me saying fuck that. I don't have to, you know?
This dude, I'm trying to find like a clip.
By trade and by job, my passion is to make light or add light to, in a genuine sense of, man, the world takes them so seriously. Some people don't have to be taken seriously. Right? So, I'm joyful doing this. If it gets out there and helps somebody, that's the thing. And if it did help me, help somebody. I mean, and that's the idea, right? And that's why I'm so excited that you're here because we have been.
Well, I thought it would say it. Anyways, he goes on a whole. If you look him up, he's funny as fuck. But he talks about it: first thought wrong, second thought wrong, third thought wrong. You know what I'm saying? He touched it. He touched it. You know, perfect. They were perfectly broken. A bunch of shit, but he's fucking funny as fuck, right? If you're ever just bored, just Google Mark. What was it? I just had it. Mark Lundenberg. Fucking. Yeah, Mark Lundholm.
Okay. You know, there's this other video. I don't know, like that Brene Brown chick who is like all about positive anything, almost positive anything. She has this one that's like it's called Confabulations, and it's like the stories we tell ourselves. It's really cool. It's just explanatory, and it's like it makes sense because like what we tell ourselves, right, is how we're gonna act out, right? And like if you're telling yourself a lie, you're gonna act out in a not positive way. It's interesting. It's not like
TED Talk.
no, I think well, you can just YouTube it. It's actually with Oprah and Brene Brown. It's weird. It's Brene Brown.
Oh, I think she does a TED Talk too.
She does a whole lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, fucking I don't know if nobody else has nothing else to share. Every Thursday I open this meeting. I try to send the invites out as much as I can, but it's like you know, I try anyways. 5:30 I usually open the meeting up if people want to come in and just chop it up. About 6:05 we get the meeting started. So I hope to see you guys next week. You know, just go on, like I say every week, post and share on the page. You know what I mean? I like seeing everybody posting their journey of recovery on there and people see it. And obviously it's been working because fucking we're almost at 500 just in a couple months. And you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people are liking and posting and it's pretty awesome. So I see you yawning, bro.
Later, y'all.
Later. Y'all.
Tired. Bye, guys. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
See you guys next week.
Yes.
Remember, cripping ain't easy if you're blood.